You want to watch me restore this 1980 Pac-Man machine? Of course you do. Stick around, and you get to see all the fun that I had to do. And we won't die. So about this Pac-Man on eBay. It was as is for parts. They didn't think it was going to be repairable. And I just started taking it apart. For your knowledge, in order to take something apart, I'm going to reassemble part of it. So you can see how it goes back together. There's a couple of screws you have to take off. Let's take this screw here, this screw here, this screw here, and two screws above here off. Then you're going to peel this up here, and there's going to be a screw here on this side and this side. And this will come off like this. As you can see, the damage has been done by a rusted, corroded battery. It's rusted out this terminal. I'm going to separate the halves. You can see the speaker. You can see that I have access to that rusted terminal. And you see the circuit board, which is kind of neat to see itself. Let's zoom in on some of this. You can see the joystick here. It would be the right joystick here. It has some signs of cold solder joint. There's some joints here that I'm going to have to take and resolder. Anything that you see, kind of circle around it like that. I want to retouch. Same way with this here. Any of these joints here for common parts that are moved, I'm going to be retaining with solder. There's a little spot right there. You see that there is some corrosion there on this terminal here. There's some corrosion here, laid away right there. Here's another little bad solder joint there. That's a cool little processor. And then you have the display here. So, I've already taken the top side off of it. I'll show you what that looks like. Zoom out. I'm working outside today in some fresh air. I'm feeling the best. I'm kind of bored. I'm feeling sick. I want to work on something. So we're working on this today. Here's the other side of the board. So I'll hit this up with the toothbrush and I'll make sure all the dusting, goody nitty stuff is off. I did notice some more corrosion up here as well. To take and get rid of the corrosion, you should have bought all this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take and saturate the board. I try not to touch the board too much because 91% messes with my fingers. And I've already washed over here with the toothbrush. And I don't know what it is about the 91%, but it just really doesn't do well for me. If I had gloves, I'd wear it, but I don't have any right now. I'm not really concerned about brushing the other side. It's just more dust, but since it's already here, might as well. And I'm going to have to go wash my fingers off real quick after I get this done. Kind of get a little bit of the grime after over the years of snot-nosed kids playing with these. You know how that goes. Once it dries out, I'll solder some of the pins and go over the circuit, show you how it works. So let's go over the circuitry here. You have a red and blue wire, and that's going to be a hot and positive. It says so on the board. That's B plus and B minus. That's battery plus and battery minus. If you look here, this battery terminal is dangerously close to uh, each other. It's like, I'm not sure how they actually never touched each other. So we'll get rid of that. Looks like it was just solder anyway. Okay, so you got your positive and negative. There's a switch here that goes on one side of the switch, and you will see that it has a checker on top as well. It has a set of series of diodes, capacitors, and this guy right here. It's likely a voltage regulator or some type of transistor. C1173, like a MOSFET. Let's probably turn on the vacuum display. Well, let's just dry some more. We'll clean up some more on the top too to see how they're kind of cruddy. But it basically just amplifies whatever voltage that's in from the batteries. The small little buck boost circuit here, if you can consider that a buck boost. But basically what it does. And then use your, everything that's analog switches. So your controller for your left and right thumbs are through these guys here. And they're just touching the pads, they're pressing down on these pads so you can see that they give in. That's all they're doing, they're just making contact from one side of the pad to the other, making contact to this. So that's what you're touching. So you're this pad here and this pad here is one and the same. And when you move the joystick to the left, it makes this continuity go to here. That's how that works. So the information that gets signaled through here goes to your main processor. Your processor puts that out. There's your processor. And it puts that out to your vacuum display. This guy. That's pretty cool. It itself, if you were to be able to zoom in further past the screen, there's tiny, tiny, tiny wires. You'll be able to see here. See those grids that go through that. And on the grid itself, there's like wires, goes left and right here. And then inside here itself, it's going to have the circuitry to light up individually. So each Pac-Man move and ghost and all that is already there. I just have to enable it by sending that voltage to the pin. Thought that was kind of neat to show you. Now I'm going to clean it up some more and then we'll continue on with our project here. Well, I'm letting the circuit board dry. I wanted to take a look at this terminal here. See if we can take and work on him. Now that just appears to have just surface rust. Might be able to touch it up with the wire brush here. Maybe some sandpaper. Let's see what we can figure out. I may have to end up replacing this whole deal. What I'm going to end up doing is, because I can't get this close enough to the tabletop, I'm just going to grab a pair of pliers and I have a wire brush here. If you had like a Dremel with a wire wheel on it, it would probably a lot quicker than what I'm going to do here. I'll spare you the dull details of me buffing this up, and we'll cut back too after I get it clean. Now after doing much cleaning, and you can get to the patina of the metal. That's what's the surface of metal. It's got cavities. I'm actually touching just the top surface of it where it's kind of tinged in color. And I get one on, so that's good enough for me. We'll continue on with the rest of the repair. And before you stick your freshly cleaned rusted piece of metal back into your area, might want to take and just go ahead and clean this, because you're just introducing it back into the same environment that it was in before. Throw a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and I'm just going to scrub it with the toothbrush. See what happens. I don't want it to be reinduced by more corrosion. I might actually have to scrape that off. There we go. A little persuasion. A little persuasion never hurts anything, right? And then we're going to shove this back in this little hole where it belongs. Slide it on in. Again with a little persuasion. Make it nice and squared and flush. And we're back in business. I'm going to finish repairing the rest of this here. Now you might notice a bunch of this white powdery stuff on the pins now. And what I believe that's just the residue of the flux left over, which is not harmful by any means. A little bit of brushing of that and you get rid of it. It'll probably be just reappearing in certain areas. They had water soluble flux, and they had other kinds of flux back in the day. There were some fluxes that they made, and the flux was so acidic it did not do well for circuit boards, like in the late 70s, where it would actually take and oxidize the copper, and it's like left a black filament, and you had to take and remove the solder just by heating it up. When you remove the solder, it would just be like a black pad underneath there, and you'd have to hit it with the wire brush. You can see that that came back again, and that's just what I said. It's going to be that it's sticky, so it's the flux. So not really concerned about that. I can hit it with the light brushing of the wire brush if I wanted to, but I'm not really concerned. I don't want to scratch up. I don't want to scratch up too much. If I had a different cleaner, it might help me better than what I have. You can see on the processor they did cut out a couple pins here, which makes it a little bit unique. So I'm going to, from here, just take and resolder some of these pads that look like they were in dire need of fixing. And we're just going to get to it. So one of these pads is right here. I'm kind of curious and see what it's under. Oh, it's just a metal stud. That's all it is. Okay. Well, if I heat this up, as my thought is, it's going to fall down and it's always going to make contact. So I may have to have a little concern here, but I may have to tilt the board up and solder on the side. That way it doesn't fall downward unless it's pressed, which I don't think it would be. So I'm going to prop this board up here. You can see that the sun is shining, and you can see right through this circuit board. It is a one-layer board. Let's see if this solder joint moves at all if I move this pad. It moves the little pin. I'm not really focusing on the solder, I'm just focusing on the part I'm pushing on. It does not look like it's moving, so that's good. So I'd be able to just lay it on this normal side and just heat all these joints up. Unfortunately, I do have solder-free, lead-free solder from Walmart. I do not have my leaded solder, which I can use on this since it was made before 2005. If you're not familiar with the codes and what they want you to do, they don't want you to use any leaded solder on new equipment. So now that's for America. I don't know how it is for your country. You see that spitting because it's rubbing alcohol is still in that hole. So let's touch this up over here. Blob it up over there. I'll make this look a little bit better after I get done with the video. I'm just showing you first, the point of making a video of stuff that I would do to make this better. Let's just touch stuff up. I always look at stuff like this that you are the Bob Ross of circuit board repair, so you want to have pretty little joints and you don't want happy little accidents at all. Contrary to belief, you don't want happy accidents. You want no accidents when you're soldering, because accidents could lead into massive failure. And if you have something that's unique like this, you may or may not be able to find a replacement. Any type of parts, So tread lightly into repair. Don't go too crazy, but make it worthwhile for yourself. I'm looking at other joints and stuff as I'm doing this, just making sure that they're looking okay. And so far they are. I am going to take in, touch up on some of these solder joints for the switches, because that's a common switch, common part that gets moved a lot. So we want to make sure the switches are nice and soldered into place. Okay. I'm going to clean up some of the solder that I have kind of just spread on about. I don't see any other bad joints on here. I'll call it good. I'm going to take and plug everything back in and we'll see how it works. I'm happy how this has turned out. So, I'm going to take in this little guy back where it came from. Got a notch on here. Clean up any other little thing that needs to be cleaned out. I'm going to wash this off a little bit more. I got just a little cleaning cloth that I'm going to touch this up. I got fluxed on it. This also may have, that's just what it is. It's just the layer I was about to peel off is what tints the color of this vacuum display. So, yeah, I'll do that real quick. You wouldn't want to be playing your game and you just suddenly have this smudge that you can't get off. So, I just want to make sure everything is nice and pretty inside before we take and close everything back up. Alright. I'm happy how it turned out. Put it back together. While I have this out, I told you about this little parts and stuff that need to be kind of cleaned up. I got this knob, see how gungy it is. I'm just going to clean that up too while we have it out. Cause who knows how many little gamey snot-nosed kids back in the early 80s and they played with this. So you're watching this, you're probably one of those little snot-nosed kids too. And that's okay. We all did it. So this one, since it's not a restore, it's just a repair. And since this is just a repair and not a restore, I'm not replacing these. I mean, I probably could have found some off of eBay or Amazon and replaced it, but you know, if we ain't got a few nicks in it, what's the point? So, I'm not totally sure what the screws are for in the middle, but we'll leave them. And as I took and cleaned the rest of it, I'll clean this up too. Okay, ready for the board to be put back onto here. And then I'll screw it back down. And it takes one screw in the center. And then two on the outside. We have one here and then one over there. I always want to make sure that you're not putting me in nicking choices. I always kind of cringe at the screws by choices. Because I've had that happen before. If it's a metal chassis, I would be more concerned, but since it's just plastic and it's on one side, I'm not really concerned. We'll bend this tab back over. I'll pull it out. And then this goes back into here. Again, it's another little prime time to take and clean. While I got it out, clean it all and make it look pretty. Because I could have done that, well, I had the joysticks out too, huh? That's alright. I remember the days of playing this video game with my brother had it. As I was growing up as a child. I thought it was so cool to have. And it just happened, you know, to repair the pinball machine not too long ago. And I thought, you know what? I wonder if they have these on there that you could take and just get to cheap and fix up and buy. So here we are. Paid a whole whopping $20 for it, I believe. And I'm not really complaining. Plus there's shipping, of course, but somebody else's loss, it became my pleasure. And I know I don't have a bottom battery cover, and that's fine. We'll put some clear tape over it and call it good. Or I'll just cut out, get the cardboard and put over it and call it good. Okay, so that's how this sits. It's just kind of exposed like that. I'm going to put the first couple of screws here at the top. Now that that's open, like that. I'm going to get the screws out of the baggie. I'm fairly certain all the screws are the same size. And I believe they are. Nope, they're wrong. I'm wrong. They're smaller and pointier. So we'll get that put in there. Move the camera over so you can see that in there. And a little bit of dab of adhesive glue or something will be put there and make it look better. That'll be okay for that. And then we'll flip it over on the back side. I know I had a screw here in the bottom here, and two here, and then one over there. They gypped me a screw, which is fine. It all works out. Just remember, plastic's a little fragile, so don't over tighten it. It may not be so forgiving. And there we have it. It's fully assembled again. A little bit of tape here, and we'll tape that down. I am prepared. I do have a couple of batteries here. I believe they were C-cell batteries. Yep. It only takes 4. Now you could get away with just buying a little adapter and using a DC power on here if you wanted. But we may look into that in the future. Alright. Let's see if we did anything worthwhile here. I don't know if the batteries will hold. It was off. Huh. So it ain't working. Okay. Alright, so I just didn't have the battery and I didn't wait long enough. You might be able to see in here. You might be able to hear it. So we have a fully working Pac-Man game here. That's cool. I'm about to take and get something and hold this down. And then we're going to be okay. I'll take and get a piece of cardboard and jam in there. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. If you want something to send in for repair, something like this, little kid game, let me know. I'll see you next time. Watch as... Oh, come on, you piece of shit. And like I said, I made it out of cardboard, so my last little piece at the top of the thing here, I just folded it over and made a little notch in there, and there you go. And now we get to play. And we could do head-to-head. So head-to-head with 2 people playing at the same time. That's right.